to Georgia Living Podcast. I am Céline Evans.
And I'm Chris.
And hi.
It's officially fall in Georgia. The weather's cooler. We've got a little bit of fake fall back and forth. Always. I mean, Georgia has 29 seasons.
Did you see that Maine was 84 yesterday?
Maine was 84 yesterday. That was insane.
I'm so sorry, Maine.
I saw, our local meteorologist put out something on social media the other day, and they're like, we're expecting maybe like 5 to 6 inches of snow in Georgia this winter. So
are we really?
I guess North Georgia, which we're like the bottom of that.
Yeah, Cobb Cherokee is like the iffy area, and then we get a lot of ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the south, basically below us, they're like, maybe an inch. But us and above, it's like 2 inches where we are, maybe like 5 to 6 up in like LJ in the mountains. Tennessee is supposed to get like 15 inches of snow this winter. But it's all forecast, right? It's so far out, we don't know what's going to happen.
Right, but that's good for the ski resort.
It could be, yeah.
There are some right there. I mean, if you live in Georgia, you don't have to go to New Hampshire. Like, they exist here. They're not as good, but yeah, they're still here, and not in Georgia. Above us.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got buddies who've gone out to like North Carolina, places like that. We've got a lot going on right now. Our family's kind of been just doing the normal stuff right now because fall breaks over. We're kind of back in the habit of a normal routine, right? But we've got some holidays coming up. Mm-hmm. We've got Halloween this month, Thanksgiving next month. There's a lot of community events that we're going to talk about today that are kind of tying into all that.
But you've started doing mountain biking.
Yes.
Because our son has decided that he wants to start, working with the Sope Creek Composite is what it's called, right?
Yeah, so the way the mountain biking league works is you have like these regional composite teams, and they all practice together. They train together, they ride together during the week, and the composite teams are made up of like, I don't know, let's say 7 different school districts. So at Sope Creek, we cover Pope, Walton, Campbell, Wheeler, Riverview, and then there's like another school, and then there's also like some private schools that are mixed in there as well. So there's like a couple of like, I think there's a Christian Academy, and then maybe Johnson Ferry, I don't know, but basically all of the kids practice together, so you get this giant like group of kids that we break up into like 2, 3, 4 groups depending upon how many show up for a practice.
Y'all look like a herd.
We are a herd. You should have seen us. So yesterday we had a little rain. The trails were closed, so we basically rode the Greenway. So we leave from Sope Creek, we rode through the parking lot, and then we picked up the Greenway trail off of Powers Ferry.
Okay, explain this to me because I'm not a mountain biker.
Okay.
I didn't even know that we had so many mountain biking trails.
We have a lot of mountain biking trails around
shocked.
here.
Like,
so
what in the world? Where did these come from?
So we don't have a lot like in the city, right? Like in Metro Atlanta. Probably Sope Creek is the closest one.
Well, there's the Beltline, but that's flat.
Those aren't mountain bike trails. Mountain bike trails are either single track, meaning one way, or you have some 2-way trails, and Sope Creek is a single track. There's a couple of 2-way connecting trails, but basically on Monday it goes clockwise, on Tuesday it goes counterclockwise, so you can go out at different days and ride at different directions. And when you get out there, it's rock and dirt and climbing and going down, and it's a lot of fun. But you've got to protect the trails, so when it's wet, you don't want to be out there riding. Kind of like that time you got my 4Runner stuck at the marina. They didn't pull it out while it was wet because you're going to tear up the ground more.
Oh, it was so bad that all the guys just said, leave it.
Yeah. We had to have my in-laws come up and rescue us to take us back to the cabin until ground dried out and they were able to pull the truck out.
Moving on.
Yeah, so that's why I have 4-wheel drives now. Anyway, when you get out there, you don't want to damage it. So last night, the mountain biking trails were closed, but the rain had stopped, so we still wanted to get out, get a good ride in. So we did the Beltway, basically, or the Greenway, which Sope Creek connects to. You pick it up off of Powers Ferry down just outside of 285. And we rode down by the Battery and, got some good rides in. It was about
really far, like 8 miles, you said, right?
We did about 8.5 miles yesterday. James got a little tired, so we didn't do the full trip. But we did almost the full trip, and it was tiring. I mean, it's a lot of riding, and he's learning the gears and shifting and how to like pedal with a normal cadence right now. So it's good. He's making a lot of progress. But yeah, it was almost 9 miles, and it was a good ride. Lots of uphill.
We've got some local resources for biking too. I mean, right by our office, there's Free Flight.
Free Flight Bicycles is right next door. They're actually the sponsor of the Sope Creek team. And then there's other trails we've got a house right now for sale in Canton, 50 and 20 Timber Trace. And that property is about a half a mile away from Blankets Creek, which is another mountain biking trail.
Specifically mountain biking?
Specifically mountain. We have a lot of parks that are designed just for mountain biking. So Blankets Creek is one of them.
I didn't even know.
Yep. Allatoona Creek Park, which we went to for a Sunday ride. That one is also mountain biking only.
When I went there, I was walking on the flat part. Y'all went somewhere. Am I not seeing what you're seeing?
You're not. So no. That's the equivalent of like the Greenway. But where we were at Allatoona Creek, that was all gravel.
So it's like hiking trails that you're going up.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine like the Appalachian Trail where it gets like really narrow at some points. It's kind of like that.
Ooh.
It's steep. Sometimes you're really pedaling, and sometimes you get this like you got to stop and just kind of walk it up a little bit depending upon how you approach the angle. So it can be really hard, but it's really nice. And one of the best things about this sport that I love is for all the kids. The whole purpose of the mountain biking sport is to get kids outside, to get them enjoying something in a supportive. It's healthy competition, right? But it's very supportive. Everybody there, kind of like how we've talked about CAR and what we like about that for the kids, that it's an environment where you have older kids helping younger kids. Very similar culture with the mountain biking team that we're a part of. So everybody's job is to have fun on the trails. Be safe, come back, and complete it.
That's so different from other team sports because, you're restricted to your team and then your team spirit, and it's kind of drilled into you, right? But
at the same time, we've got in the coaches group, there's 115 coaches that are registered, and there's probably 20 or 25 of us that are constantly there.
Right.
So for each kid, it's healthy competition, right? There's coaches that will help the kids that are more advanced, and there are coaches that are going to help the kids that are much slower in that in the sport.
And some coaches even stay after their kids graduate.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one yesterday. Our director, his kid graduated last year. He stayed on because he loves it. So he's doing a lot. He's the director for our school. So in the composite team, you have all these individual schools, and when they go to race, because there are 4 races held throughout the season, and then the 5th race is the state championship. So each kid riding for their own school, so Pope, Wheeler, Walton, even though they're all in the composite team, when they compete, they're competing for their school and they're competing for points individually. So they ride and compete in the 4 races, and then if they qualify, they can go to state and compete for the state championship.
You're selling this pretty well.
I love it. I mean, every sport has its barrier to entry. Mountain biking is the cost of the equipment, but it's not a travel team like baseball where you're going down to Florida for a week. I mean, you have to travel to the races because one was in Milledgeville, one's at Daresville. It goes to where the mountain biking trails are, the good ones. One of them's at Kingston Downs. There's a Kingston Downs ride. They have mountain biking trails there.
I love the horse races.
And apparently that track, you can only get there when you're on a race because it's private. So you can't ride the mountain biking trails unless you're staying on the property. But for the races, you can get out there, do a pre-ride the night before, you camp out, and then you ride the next day. So some people come out with RVs, some do hotels, some do camping, but it's really only one night, so it's not as much of a commitment as like travel baseball or things like that, where you're on the road and you're going to Cooperstown and all sorts of stuff.
I cannot imagine that.
No, it's not as intense.
Yeah.
Everybody can have fun. You don't have to push it, but you can push it as much as you want. As they get comfortable and build confidence on the bike, you push harder, you learn new skills, and you keep going.
Well, you have made this dress-wearing woman want to get on a bicycle.
Have I really?
Yes.
Wow, y'all don't understand what a monumental task that would be.
Because I really like dresses.
It's been a long time since you've ridden. We used to have a road bike. We used to ride a little while ago. Before kids.
Oh, that was
You remember that?
Ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Well, anyway, so that's a little bit about what we're doing there. Other things we'll kind of talk to, but got a new chair position within Kiwanis. You're taking over a new position within DAR, so you've been doing a lot of time with that.
Yeah, so you are doing... What was it that you're doing the chair of?
I am the co-chair of the Young Children Priority 1 Committee, so our big thing is the diaper drive, which we have an event coming up in the community I'm going to talk about later today.
Oh, good. And I've basically become the editor of the National DAR podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've been putting in your hours there, getting that set up.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in knowing about DAR, the DAR Today Podcast, edited by my beautiful wife. So yeah, that's kind of what we got going on in the family. Today we got a packed show. We're going to talk about some local zoning news. We've got some community events that are happening. We've got a conversation with our good friend Rob Doerr, who's here from EHLA, our e-home loan advisors, about what's happening with mortgage rates. And then we're going to wrap up with the September housing stats. So we're going to talk about what's happening FMLS as a whole, so all of Metro Atlanta. Then we'll talk about specifically Cobb and Cherokee counties to give you a rundown of how everything's happening and what's going on since the Fed announced the rate drop.
Yeah. Well, can I get started with the zoning?
Yeah. Let's dive on into this zoning stuff and what's going on there.
Yeah, so there's a meeting on Tuesday at 9 a.m., 100 Cherokee Street in Marietta, and this is for zoning and planning. The first item is going to be Villa Rica Rd. This is by Brock Built, the company. They are looking at an 18-home subdivision near Hillgrove High School. The price range is about $700,000 to $800,000 with traditional craftsman design. And it got deferred last month for school and stormwater concerns. Hillgrove got built to ease the burden off of McEachern, right? Was it McEachern?
It pulled from both Kennesaw Mountain and McEachern.
Yeah. So they're already thinking about concerns.
Well,
school.
Here's one of the issues is like it was deferred last month because of the school and stormwater concerns. Mm-hmm. School is one thing, but stormwater is a big thing. So
that's bigger.
In zoning and development, when a builder wants to go in and change the demographics, say we have land that is fully trees. It's all wooded and not cleared. Well, when you go in to clear that to make a development, all that water that would have been absorbed by the trees and the brush and all that, that has to go somewhere. And if it's flat, cleared land, it ends up in the stormwater system, so it goes into the drains. So part of development in the zoning process, and what our county does, is to work with the developers in the plan to make sure that water that stays on that property before development still stays on that property after development.
So you mean we learned something from the Dust Bowl?
Well, yes. But also it was, if you ever seen a detention pond,
yeah.
Right? That's the whole purpose of them. And you can have one either open, or now they making them where you have these storage tanks underground that you can direct water into so you don't see exposed water.
Oh, some kid's gonna crawl in there.
No, it's not like that. It's all graded off. They grade to it. They fence around it, but it becomes these underground storage tanks. So water, as it goes into the ground, gets collected into the tank.
Correction. Some unintelligent kid's gonna end up in there.
Probably.
So they added acreage, and it's back on the table.
Yeah.
At the meeting. There's also another one. K&J Real Estate Brokerage, Corner Road, 4 single-family homes. They're 3,200 to 4,000 square feet, European traditional style.
Yep.
I'm so glad they're not doing farmhouse.
I'm not a big fan of this new modern design, but I like traditional, I like colonial, I like, the stuff that's been around forever.
The timeless.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got another zoning, which is Vineyard Way. This is a building development for 10 attached townhomes, and this is near Adventure Outdoors. And they're asking for variance with lot size and setback. So all of these are going to be heard at the next zoning meeting. So if you're in these areas, just be aware of what's happening. If you want more information, it was out on today's Marietta Daily Journal.
All
right. We got some news coming in about schools in the area. So we've had SAT scores and graduation rates.
We have some of the best schools
in
Cobb County, and we even have a graduate from one of them on our show. SAT scores: Walton leads Cobb and ranks number 4 in Georgia with a 1260 mean score. Lassiter has 1206, Wheeler has 1191, and Pope has 1185. They're all Cobb County schools. So, you surprised?
It's a lot higher than I got, I'll tell you that much.
It's a lot higher than I got, too.
Well,
These kids today, much smarter than I am. Love it.
Not higher than I got, but...
I married up.
Boy.
But the caveat here. This score has changed, right? So I don't know if I can even compare it to this.
I don't know how
Is it the same score as 2000?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
I know that it used to be out of 1,600, and then it went up to like 2,100, and then I think they made changes to it again. I don't know if it's back to 1,600, but either way.
You get the idea. So the graduation rate, Pope tops the country at 98.2%.
County.
Followed by, that'd be really sad in the whole country.
So Pope with the highest graduation rate in Cobb County. Congratulations.
Harrison, 97.8. Lassiter's 97.3. And Walton is 97.2. It is amazing to see all of our schools set the bar really high, and congratulations.
Yep.
This is really great news.
Now, one of the things to note about these scores. So if you're moving to the area and you want to know, why am I doing this? Why am I looking at this? So these scores should have an asterisk next to them, because when you're talking about graduation rate, that is, they started in freshman year, they ended in senior year. So these statistics are weighted heavily to areas with low transiency. So this is why in areas where you see lots of apartment buildings, you may have lower scores here, because those kids may have started in one district and then maybe something happened and, the place became somewhere they didn't want to live. They moved to another place, which may be close by, but also in a different district. So they haven't moved out of the area, but they have now impacted the school's testing scores. So understanding how these test scores work is very important, because as a county, we have fantastic educators in pretty much every school. Mm-hmm. So just understand that. Same thing with test scores. It's these students have the means because their parents have the means to invest in them. And this area, there's a lot of wealth. So it's just something to be aware of. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that these schools are better or not. It just means that there's more resources there.
You went to Osborne.
I did.
I went to Campbell International Baccalaureate, but I was in Sprayberry District. So, mm-hmm. But I never went to Sprayberry, so I don't know anything about it. Rob, you went to Walton, so...
I did.
Did you have a good experience there? Would you recommend it? I think you wanted to send your own kids there, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I went there, it wasn't as all the hype that it is nowadays. You know what I mean? Especially now that it looks like a college campus. When I was there, it was
it
old school government looking building, But no, it was a great school. And obviously, I mean, I would highly recommend it for sure. That's why people move to the area, a lot of them, to get their kids into that school.
Exactly. And really... I drive by every time, and it's these kids are really just, they're off somewhere else right after school, like baseball practice. They're always like doing something. So kudos to them.
Yep, it's definitely a competitive environment over
Yes.
there. We've got clients with some kids in there, and we hear about how things are going. So it's competitive. It's hard, but you know what? It puts out some pretty high scores. So something they're doing must be working. But congratulations to all the students, all the teachers on achieving these results. I mean, it's not easy, but it looks like we've got some pretty high numbers here in Cobb County. So proud to be here.
Yeah, we've got some community events going on as well.
Yes, we do.
The We Care Vet Fair. I've heard about this every single year since it started, and it is October 21st, 8:30 until 6 p.m. at the Cobb Civic Center, which is located at 548 South Marietta Parkway Southeast. And this is also in Marietta. Sometimes you can have, Cherokee Street and it's in Marietta. So. Yeah, there you go. 100 plus organizations serving veterans and families with different categories like legal, healthcare, employment assistance, anything. And this is for veterans of any age as well. They offer free admission and parking. You can bring your DD-214 with supporting documents, and they are there for you. DAR sometimes helps this. I don't believe that we are this year. I think we mainly do support United Military Care, who's usually at We Care Vet Fair. Yeah. They are off of Old Canton, and they do an incredible job. They every time I go there, there's this small food pantry that they have with supplies. We give them
backpacks for homeless veterans.
Kits. Yeah, there's
kits,
all different
hygiene
types.
Kits.
Yeah, so it's a great resource for anybody needing help. And even if you don't need help, maybe you can check it out and see what there is.
Yeah. If you've been struggling with anything, with the VA, disability, any of the issues that are common among veterans, this is the time where you can go sit down with somebody who knows the system, who wants to help. Okay. So definitely encourage it. It's a great event.
Yes.
What else we got, Céline?
We can go see dead people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are they coming back?
No.
Oh.
No.
They don't sprout when you plant them, do they?
I'm not crazy. So this is the Cemetery Tour in Kennesaw. It is October 23rd to 25th for Halloween.
Ooh.
Tours are at 6 o'clock, 6:45, and 7:30 p.m. And I'm assuming that the tour is maybe 45 minutes because all of your exhibits are stationary. So they're going to be historical reenactors.
Hopefully they're all stationary. I mean, it is that time of year.
The historical reenactors bring Cobb's past to life. Don't know if they're reenacting the dead people or the time period. That's not very specific here. But they're going to be stories of local veterans and notable residents. The proceeds support preservation efforts.
That's cool. I
really like cemeteries. I used to not. I thought they were creepy, but being in DAR and doing genealogy researches, oh my gosh, I need to see their headstone. It's so cool. And sometimes you have to dig it out of the hole, because the dirt's kind of covered it. So yes, findagrave.com is like Facebook for dead people.
I love it. Well, so that's the proceeds here are going to support preservation efforts, which is fantastic. Anytime you can support keeping our history alive, I think that's a good way to spend your money.
But here's the thing: is that cemeteries, I think, get forgotten.
Yeah.
And they are somebody's grandparents. They're somebody's loved one. And doing all this research, I have found that many Americans don't realize how much your family extends into all different types of places in the United States. My family has lived in Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, North Carolina, Maryland, New Jersey, Georgia here, right? All these different places, Oklahoma, Texas, and it kind of puts American history into perspective and how tied you are to the land and kind of the pride in the country of America. That, we are the fabric of this country.
I think it's nice when you start looking at where you live in the terms of generations instead of the just the focal point of your life.
It's fascinating.
You start being a part of something larger.
Yes.
And, the older I get, the more I think that becomes more and more part of what we do, is just trying to be a part of that bigger picture, that bigger story.
When they say it's the fabric of America,
really is.
We really are woven into the land and the history.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What else do we have?
You have your diaper drive.
We do. We have a diaper drive. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this as the co-chair at the Kiwanis Club of Marietta. So the diaper drive, this is happening at Cobb EMC. This is the big drop-off point. The goal here is to collect 100,000 diapers.
Whoa. For
local families. All right, this is not a small endeavor. And a little history about this is this day, the Cobb Diaper Day, it was founded by the late Barbara Hickey. She was a Kiwanis Club of Marietta member, and the goal was to address the critical need for diapers among low-income families in Cobb County. So the initiative recognized that many families struggle to afford basic necessities like this. And apparently diapers are not covered by food stamps or the EBT program. So over the years, the event has successfully collected and distributed millions of diapers to local families in need. So I am going to, I'm doing a collection at our Kiwanis Club meeting on the 16th and the 23rd. They are all due by October 28th.
100,000?
100,000. So we're going to be collecting 100,000 diapers over the next 3 weeks. They can be dropped off on the 28th at Cobb, the 1000 EMC Parkway for the Cobb EMC. It's in the Solar Flower Garden on the 28th. Or I'm going to post a link in the show notes to our Amazon wish list. If you want to make a donation, you can buy the diapers on our Amazon wish list. They'll get shipped to our office. We're going to collect them here at Select Realty, and some of the other chairs are going to collect them at their offices. And we are going to make that donation on the 28th. So you can click, ship, we'll get it, and we'll bring it to Cobb EMC for you. So yeah, our goal is 100,000. We'd love to see how many families we can help in the county for the next coming year.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants diapers. They need them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't want them for our kids. I mean, it was a pain. So we do you remember, honey, when you were pregnant, and we were kind of planning for everything? We were trying to figure out how to do diapers as cheap as possible. So we found these Costco sales like twice a year. So you found this mom's blog where they kind of broke down like the first 2 years of diapers and like what size they go through and like how many. And we bought so many diapers that like it filled up almost a quarter of a spare bedroom in the house. And it took us about 2 years to go through them, but we did.
But they're 3 kids, and you know what? We got them for 12 cents each.
This was for the first kid.
Jeez, that's good.
Yeah.
Who ended up allergic?
Yeah, he ended up after a while that we had to switch from the disposable diapers to the reusable ones because of.
That's okay. We had 2 more kids after that.
Yeah, they all got used, yes. But it was definitely fun. Not so fun. It was a pain, but we found the sales and got the diapers super cheap, and it was a lot of work. But this way, people can get them without having to do that work because it's tough to start out and it's tough to have kids. So I think it's good work. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. By the way, if you tag any of the events that we talk about, or if you're making a donation, do me a favor. Tag me on Instagram at Real Chris Evans, REEL. And we'd love to see your photos and highlight them for our upcoming shows. So now I want to switch gears. We're going to talk about the real estate market, and specifically, first off, we're going to get into mortgages. We want to understand where those are. So we're here with Rob Doerr from eHome Loan Advisors, right down the street in downtown Roswell. Rob, what's going on, man? How's the mortgage market going?
Well, it is starting to pick up a little bit, in my opinion. It's been really slow, as we all know, for a while now. And with the recent rate drop, I think it's starting to get people off the fence a little bit, especially since there should be another couple rate drops by the end of the year from what we hear. So yeah, I've seen it pick up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but it's definitely moving in the right direction for sure.
That's good. So we're seeing inventory rise, but pending sales are starting to slow down. From a financing perspective, what do you think is driving that?
I don't know. Like I said, I think rates. I mean, I think people have just been sitting around for so long, being frustrated with rates where they are. And like I think we talked about last time, some people don't have a choice. Like they have they bought a starter home, and over the years they've had 2 kids, and they're busting at the seams, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait any longer to wait for rates to come down. I have to get more space. So they just bite the bullet and go out and buy the house that they really want, just knowing that when rates do drop, they can go back in and refinance after the fact.
Yeah. I think for one of the things that we say to our clients all the time is that you're buying the payment, not the rate, right? So
yeah, 100%.
When you're buying that house, the payment, if you bought a house 5 years ago and you're buying a house again today, there's no way around it. It's gonna be a hard pill to swallow, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some creative programs or strategies that are working right now to help people with that pill that they have to swallow?
Yeah, are there any programs out there that have come along?
Yeah, I mean, they change all the time. I mean, there's some like first-time home buyer programs that are specific to certain areas. So depending on each particular person, we look up and see which loan options are available. But sometimes there's some grant money available for first-time home buyers towards the down payment. There was one that unfortunately recently disappeared, but they were offering $6,500 towards the down payment for free, like literally just for free. So that was nice, but that's gone now. But they're always pivoting and changing programs around. And then of course there's, to ease the pain a little bit, there's a rate buy down to where the seller could contribute money towards buying the interest rate down for the first year or two to get that payment down substantially. So that's one way to kind of bridge the gap as far as, trying to get in a house where the payment might seem a little higher than they want it to be for now.
Yeah, that's a great point. And sometimes that rate buy down can either be a concession offered through the seller, either a seller or a builder. They can pay that directly. Now, if a seller is paying the lender directly for rate buy down, is that considered part of the concessions that a buyer is getting as far as like closing costs and things of that nature?
Yes, it just shows up on the settlement statement at closing as the rate buy down fee, and then there's a cost associated with that, so it does blend in with the closing costs.
Okay, so you're still limited to the maximum closing cost that the loan allows you to get, and that buy down has to fit into that category. Yeah. Okay, so if you're doing a conventional loan, most conventional loans will allow you to get up to 3% of the sales price in concessions. You can fit that in. VA is up to 4% and FHA is up to 6%. So those are...
Yeah, and on conventional, it's specific to the down payment. If you're doing 5% down or 3% down, that's where it's maxed out at 3% seller contribution. But if you're doing 10% or more, then they can go up to 6%.
Awesome. So in this, it depends on where you're coming from financially. There's a lot of moving parts. I think the best thing that any consumer can do is to speak with a local pro and understand what the options are before they start looking at homes. With homeowners locked into a lot of these 3% rates, we're on the sales side, we're seeing a lot of contingencies on sale happening. But there's also the option, because if somebody has a rate at like 1.5% or 2%, a lot of people want to hold on to that. They feel like it's an asset that they shouldn't get rid of. So I'm seeing more and more people ask me about renting their house when they go to buy another one. How does that work, Rob?
Well, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because to your point, like if I had a 2.5% interest rate on a property, like I personally would never sell it. Like, why would you sell it? It's almost free money, right? So I would rather, as much as I don't want to be a landlord, it's kind of hard to let that property go. So you can get a lease agreement set up if you're purchasing another home and automatically, immediately use that rental income towards qualifying. So if you wouldn't qualify for both house payments without the rental income, they allow you to use 75% of whatever the rental is going to be. And you can use that as income towards qualifying to carry both mortgages.
So when you say what the rental is going to be, do you have to have a signed lease, or can they use?
You do.
Okay, so you need the signed lease. at the
You
time.
need the first month's deposit, the first, and then the security deposit, and then you need the executed lease. Yeah.
First month's rent, security deposit, lease.
Yes, that's right.
So three
Correct.
things. And you have to have that by the time you're ready to close on the next house.
Yes, correct. They don't have to be moved in, obviously, but the lease agreement needs to be in place.
Gotcha. So they're contractually obligated to move in within a certain period after your seller has moved out and bought the next house.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But keep in mind, like if they do, I mean, some people qualify for the current house payment and the new house payment, so the lease is kind of irrelevant, and that would not have to be set up before closing.
So from the real estate side of things, one of the things that we can do is when making an offer on that next house, we have this document called a contingency on sale or lease of existing buyer's property. And when you go through that, we can either make our offer contingent upon our buyer selling their house, or we can make our offer contingent upon our buyer leasing their house, or either. They can have it up for sale and for lease, and we can see which direction the market wants to take the property. So in that situation, if you get to closing and you have not either sold your house or leased your house under terms that are necessary for you to qualify for the closing, you can walk away from that contract to purchase and be protected on the earnest money and the legal side, so that there's not going to be any lawsuits or default of the contract. So those are things that we can do as agents to help structure a deal that makes sense for a buyer's unique perspective and unique circumstance. So Rob, we've had a rate drop. We saw rates come down before the rate drop, and then I've heard that rates have kind of ticked up a little bit since then. Is that the case?
They usually do. Usually before the Fed lowers rates, because remember when the Fed lowers rates, he's not lowering mortgage rates. They're lowering the federal funds rate, but they usually, mortgage rates tend to follow that. But by the time the Fed comes out and announces that they're lowering rates, everybody already kind of knows they're going to be lowering rates, so that's already priced into the rates at that point. So once the news comes out that they're lowering rates, a lot of times that's when you'll see it just kind of flatten out or even tick up a little. And it has ticked up a little, but nothing really to speak of, but just a hair.
That's what a lot of people don't understand, is that most people are not in real estate, right?
Yeah.
We watch it really closely and carefully. So what we see is exactly what you said. The lowering, an expectation for that rate cut. And then when it's announced to everybody, the cat's out of the bag, and then it kind of flatlines because the secret's out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for instance, like last year in September, not this year, but last year when they lowered the rates a half a point, like my phone rang off the hook and I was like, well, actually rates went up today when they announced that.
Right? It's the way it happens.
But they had already been priced in and the rates were already really good at that point. And then the day that they announced they were lowering the rates by a half a point, they actually went up. And I was like, it's hard to understand. I mean, it's confusing for sure. But yeah, they're not directly cutting mortgage rates.
Yeah, because your rates were running about 6.125 3 weeks before the rate drop. About a week before the rate drop, you were then down to like 5.875.
Yes.
Yep.
And when the rate drop hit, you basically stayed flat at 5.875. I'm looking at your rate sheet from this week.
What does this teach you?
So, and this is what I was talking to a lot of people, because the week after the rate drop, we had the open house. There were a lot of people that came through. I think consumers hear the news about the Fed from the news, right? They're not following me or you on social media every day like it's gospel, because God, who wants to follow a realtor like it's gospel? Nobody. And if you do, gosh, like, I appreciate the flattery if it's me, but
It's me.
it's all you. So
it is you guys.
When you a lot of people, some people hear it, some people see it, and they'll act when a realtor posts something, right? I made a drop announcement, and a few people came into the market. People that we have been having conversations with that were thinking about the spring decided, let's see what it looks like now. But we don't know when those next rate drops are going to be. We think that they're going to come, but just as last year somebody said, well, we're going to have 3 or 4 rate cuts in 2023 or 2024. 24, we got one, and then they were saying, well, we're going to get cuts in the spring and cuts in the summer at 25, and then we just got our first cut for 25. So
9 months.
I think the rule here is if somebody is telling you rates are going to come, you can kind of plan that they will, but don't plan on them happening when you want them to happen. This is why we buy for the payment. We want the house to be comfortable, something you can maintain every month. And then if we're in a downward rate trend, you just know that you're going to take advantage of hopefully buying that property today for a lower sales price. That's your cost basis. And then when rates do drop, you're able to refinance and make that lower payment now on your lower sales price, your cost basis, because you bought that home now maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Rates have gone, or prices have gone up, rates have come down. So now you're locked in on what you bought that property for, and you can then just do a rate and term adjustment on your loan to lower that monthly payment and free up your cash flow.
We don't like to gamble.
No.
That's right. But and I know we've touched on this before too, but I've seen some people like, hey, I'm going to wait till rates go down. And well, guess what happens when you wait around till rates go down? When rates go down, prices go up. So if you want to wait to get a little bit better interest rate, you're going to be spending more for the house. So it kind of defeats the purpose.
You just got to do it.
Yeah. I think this is a great buyer's market. It's probably one of the best that we've had in a long time. For no other reason than we're able to negotiate really good terms for our buyers in terms of closing cost concession, rate buy downs, repairs that are happening on the house. So it's like if you can buy a house today and then get $20,000 in concessions and closing costs and work done on the house, then you're buying the house, say it's a $350,000 house, you're getting it for like $330,000. Awesome. Well, when rates drop lower into the fives, we're going to have a lot more buyers that come in, especially when the Fed announces now another rate drop and another rate drop. All the people that aren't paying attention to your local agents, your local loan officers, they're going to come into the market, just like they did last weekend. And when that happens, you're going to have more competition, more offers on the properties, which means the seller is going to be less likely to give all those concessions. So yeah, you might get a little bit better rate and monthly payment, but you're going to come out of pocket that $20,000 this time.
I think we need to do a comparison too, because Rob, you were obviously in this market too. 21, with the low rates, we basically sold as is.
Everything was almost as is.
It was take it or leave it.
Even more than that. Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I was just going to touch on that, is people tend to forget. Remember a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, like you couldn't find a house. People were begging and pleading and writing letters like, oh my gosh, my family need, sob story letters to try to get the seller to accept their contract. So it's funny how things can turn around so quickly, but I think people tend to forget that. So I think if you're thinking about being in the market, like I would be grateful knowing that it's actually a buyer's market now, because it wasn't a couple of years ago, that's for sure.
I mean, it's great that you snagged one, but when I would list a property, I would get 14 offers on one, especially if it was a starter home. And yes, the rates were low, but you didn't miss out because you couldn't find a property to buy.
Yeah, it's I've never seen anything like it. I've been doing this a long time, but that was just a unique time to where any house that hit the market, everybody was freaking out about it. There's a house for sale.
It really was, and I think when we were in that chaos, I mean, we helped a lot of people buy really good homes, but there were some people and some agents out there that were not advocating for their clients, and they were new, and I think it's a dangerous market. It's a dangerous kind of the perfect storm when you have a new agent, you have a buyer's market where everybody is competing and everybody is just trying to get a home. And then you have sellers who are unwilling to do repairs because there's so many buyers that want their home. So now you have a buyer who feels the pressure of buying. You have an agent who doesn't know how to advocate for their property or their client properly because they're relatively new. And everybody is in the market, so all the agents are busy all the time. Like it was so easy that I started a team in 2020 and grew that team in 2 years to do $50 million a year in sales. Like it was that easy. That has never happened at any point in my career. It was the market that allowed us to do that, because all we had to do was go in, put the systems in place, turn on the lead sources, and everybody wanted to buy a house. So then we provided the training to the agents and taught them how to do it, and they did it. Those same agents, most of them are not in the market anymore, because when the faucet turned off, there was nothing left. And this is one of the reasons why we focus on relationship-based selling. And we've sold for the same people for years and years and years and years, because we don't rely our business on turning on and off the water, because it changes. So, Rob, it's always great having you on. You explain things very clearly for our listeners. If there was one thing that somebody needs to take away from you this month, we're October, we're getting into the holiday season, what do people need to know about mortgages today? What's their takeaway?
Well, I think if you're on the fence at all, or if you're just curious to see what you can afford, the process is super simple. It literally takes like 5 minutes of your time. And I feel like a lot of people that are hesitant to do that for whatever reason, once they bite the bullet and do a pre-approval, which literally takes 5 minutes. We do a soft credit pull, so there's zero effect on your credit score. And then it only takes me like 10 to 15 minutes to review everything. And I can, spell out exactly what all of your loan options are. And I think people, once they do that, they're so relieved. They're like, oh my gosh, I was so worried about it. I didn't know if I qualify or how much I qualify for. Now I have a clear picture. Or if I need to work on my credit, like we can help with that too. So I think that's the best starting point if you're considering moving forward at any point in the near future. Yeah,
I think it always starts with a conversation. For anybody who's thinking about maybe keeping a home, renting it, and trying to buy in their next home, then we've got some information for you. In case you haven't ever listened to this show before, Céline and I have a book. It's called From the Ground Up. If you're on YouTube, it looks like this. It is available from Amazon and Audible, and it's how... Yeah, there's a little barcode right there. So if you're interested in learning more, it's a quick, just over 100-page read. You can get through it in a couple of hours, but it's zero fluff. It is tactics. This is what we did, how we did it, why we did it. And we call it leapfrogging, where you buy a home, live in the home, and then rent it behind you. I'm a believer in never selling an asset. So hopefully you can get some good info from here. Again, it's From the Ground Up, how two millennial high school sweethearts created a multi-million-dollar real estate investment portfolio from scratch. And you can too. I feel like I need another breath.
Everyone harps on education and going to college right away from after high school, which, still is very important. Mm-hmm. They never talk about buying a home as soon as you can.
Buy the house. Because it's the trend is that real estate's only going to get more and more unaffordable. So the more you own, the earlier you own, you get to watch the magic of the time value of money do its thing and make you wealthy. So it's a great way to spend your money. It's a great way to invest, and it's something that's been done for millennia.
Also a headache being a landlord.
It can totally be a headache. But if you consult with a realtor who knows what they're doing and can help you plan for that, Evan's report, then we can give you the step-by-step ways to mitigate certain risks in your real estate portfolio. It's what we do. That's kind of our advisory service. That's where we earn our bread and butter. So, Rob, thank you so much for joining us. I think great advice. We're going to put all your contact information in the show notes, as always. So if you're interested in having that conversation, the quick, and from personal experience, if I've got something in the back of my head and I'm not doing it, I'm putting it off, it gets worse and it builds up more in my head. Have the conversation, because I've had plenty of them with Rob, and I always walk away from it being like, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was. So great resource. Rob, thanks for joining. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and your phone number is what?
404-771-0341 is my cell phone number, and you can call anytime. I'm always available.
And we'll have that in the show notes with your email and website. All right.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, guys.
last segment for this episode, we want to get in and talk about what's actually happening in the real estate market. So you kind of get a general idea of where things are and where they're going.
Or not happening.
So we've got the preliminary September numbers out. This is through Market Stats on the FMLS. And we're covering just some sales criteria. We're going over the stats. We're going to talk about what's for sale, how many new listings, all of that. But we're breaking it down for FMLS as a whole. So that's Metro Atlanta, inclusive of Cobb and Cherokee County. And then I've also broken out Cobb County and Cherokee County so we can kind of give you a compare and contrast just so you understand kind of where inventory levels are and what days on market are looking like. So let's start off with the median sales price. The median sales price for FMLS right now is $399,945. This is down almost 2% year over year from where we were last year. Keep in mind, this number fluctuates month to month. So when we're talking about a negative 1.7, almost negative 2, that is over September last year. Okay, not the year high, not the year low, just month over month, 1 year to the next. Cobb County is down 2.2% with a median sales price of $425,000. Cherokee County has seen some growth with a 0.9% increase. Their median sales price today is $500,000.
I have a theory on that.
What's that theory?
Well, Cobb is pretty saturated right now, and a lot of people are moving into Cherokee. These houses have not gotten smaller.
No, Cherokee has some really large homes. Like the new homes that they're putting in Cherokee County are not entry level for the most part. No. They're 6, 7, 800,000. They're 3,000, 4,000 square feet.
Brand new.
They're all new homes.
Cobb has a good mix of older homes and newer homes, and I believe that the older homes resale value would make sense as to why we are at $425,000 compared to a median sales price of $500 in Cherokee.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the way that people have expanded out of Metro Atlanta.
Cherokee is slated to be one of the top 10 fastest growing counties in the state of Georgia. Cherokee and Gwinnett are like top 10. And the reason being is because there's a lot of land in Cherokee, which means there's a lot of development opportunity in Cherokee. Cobb County is still building, but at a much slower pace.
I'm seeing like the single lots or, the tear downs from people who have passed on. The estate has sold it. Just
like what we're dealing with in zoning right now in a few. But also we've got that new 600 home neighborhood going in off of Bell's Ferry.
That is unique. Okay, so I know the people who own that. And
the land prior to being purchased and developed.
Yeah. And it was a holdout. So, yes.
It's rare that we find that much family land. Yeah. So we're seeing price appreciation happen in Cherokee. Cherokee has more newer homes. They have some old homes too. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that you can't find a $400,000 home in Cherokee County, because you can. But it is $100,000 below your median sales price. So just understand you're getting what you're paying for on that bell curve. New listings, FMLS, positive territory. We got a 3.8% year over year increase in the number of new listings happening in the month of September. 10,462 listings came on FMLS in September. 1,105 of those were in Cobb County, which is a 7.2% increase in the number of homes on the market in September. Cherokee had 556 homes come on the market, which is a 9.7% increase. So you start seeing, when we're talking about numbers of actual homes, Cherokee has far fewer for sale as well.
But this also means that, so the sales price is coming down. You have increased listings. There are people who are saying that's enough time waiting for these rates. We need to put our house on the market. We will take less, but we got to move now. Yeah.
And when we talk about the number of homes for sale, this is our inventory. This is how many active homes are available for sale on the MLS. And FMLS is 28,727. That is high. We're up 22.4% year over year, and last year's inventory levels were high too. So we're even higher this year. Cobb County has 2,547 homes for sale, which is 19.5% more than we had this time last year. Cherokee has 1,387 homes for sale, which is a 34.7% increase. So we're seeing lots of inventory hitting the market. When it talks about the number of actual closings, the homes that sold in September, FMLS had 5,339, which is 6.2% less than the same time last year. Cobb had 711, which is a 6.1% increase. And I'm happy that we saw that, because August was an awful number for Cobb. We only had 600 homes closed in August, which for a summer month is abysmal. Seeing that come up, we're 711. That's 6% higher than last September. I think that's probably offsetting. Maybe we didn't get as many closings in August as we'd like to have. Then we've got Cherokee County with 287 homes that closed in the month of September. That's down 15.6%. So these, when we're talking about double-digit price or double-digit percentage changes, like 15.6%, we've got double-digit on the inventory level with more homes for sale. Like, these are big increases in the market. The actual time on the market has increased as well. So FMLS as a whole, the average days on market are 31. Some homes are going to hit the market and sell in a day. Some homes are already sold by the time it goes active. Some homes sit on the market for 300 and something days before they're sold.
Oh, some neighborhoods are super specific.
Most of the homes that I've been looking at for the comps on properties that we're selling have been in the market anywhere from 55 days to 110 days. And with most of them following in the kind of 70-day range when they're selling. And these are kind of $700,000-$800,000 homes, Cherokee County, kind of Woodstock to Canton. So we're seeing a lot of days on market. It's hard to find the right buyer right now, but when you find them, the sales are typically going through.
Sellers are having to learn to be patient.
Yeah. So FMLS's days on market are 31. Cobb is 23, and Cherokee is 22. So percentage-wise, year over year, FMLS is up almost 30%, 29.2% increase in the days on the market. Cobb is up 21.1%, and Cherokee is down 8.3%. So I think we're seeing people leaving Atlanta, moving north, and that's kind of why we're seeing some of these numbers come down.
I'm not surprised. Have you seen the traffic?
Yes.
Holy moly.
I've been in the traffic. It's awful.
It took us 2 hours to get our kids on Saturday.
It took 2.5 hours, and we just went from Marietta to Mableton and back.
It used to not be like this.
No.
So,
without traffic, it should be a 30-minute one way. It was really bad. No, it was. They had like some construction going on at Paces Ferry or something like that at 285, and it put 285 basically.
What's new with that though? We have just always made the comments of this is so much more than we remember.
Yeah. And now it's like if you want to avoid the traffic, you got to pay for it with the Peach Pass.
Right.
And
so why wouldn't, if they are working in Cherokee, why wouldn't they want to live in Cherokee, right?
Well, the great thing about the listing we have on 50 and 20 Timber right now, by the way, 50and20timber.selectrealty.com, I'll put that in there, is that it's right off of Sixes Road. It's 4 minutes down Sixes from 575.
Well, no wonder you're getting that much attention.
Even better is that when you hop on 575 right there to head south,
yeah,
like a half mile in is your exit and entrance lane to the express lane.
So, okay, what I'm saying is that it's property specific because our traffic has really become this huge wrench in our society here.
Huge.
You just cannot go from one end of the perimeter to the other without it being a day trip.
Exactly.
So people are all of us agree that it takes forever to go one place to another. But that's kind of how New York has developed too, right? Because people used to commute into Manhattan, but now if you work anywhere near, because of the traffic and the obstacles, you have to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people end up living in, areas that there would have been like, I don't know, I could have commuted 10 years ago.
Right. We're seeing a lot of urbanization of the suburban downtown areas. And one of the reasons why, like you look at downtown Woodstock, downtown Roswell, Marietta Square, all of these areas are getting, higher end event venues. They're getting, concert venues. They're getting high end, Michelin star rated, chefs coming to their area. It's all by design. When you can send people 10 minutes to a downtown instead of an hour and a half to downtown Atlanta, you're one, alleviating all of the traffic into that system, but two, you're helping to keep more local money in the local community. So when you're talking about your sales tax, you're spending more in your county, that money goes back into your county.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot, as infrastructure has changed, a lot of revenue has changed too for the counties, and people don't realize that.
Here's what happened is that specifically here, we had and I'm talking about 100 years ago, like Civil War, right? So we had the little towns, and they were separated by rail. So you had to either slow horse it down the road. We still have wagon roads. Still hoof it. Or you can take the train, but everything was slow, right? Snail mail was pretty quick back then.
Right.
But then the automobile came around. People were able to go further out, get more land. So you developed suburbs after that. The
whole infrastructure was based off of having that car, so you were commuting. Yeah.
But then too many cars came in, and then it became impossible to do that. So now people have shifted again, because the aftermath of the cars was, I remember in the 90s, downtown Roswell, Marietta Square, they were not what they are today.
No, because everybody was driving into Atlanta. Like, if you wanted to go to a nice restaurant in the 90s or early 2000s, you had to go into Atlanta. You were eating at, the Buckhead Diner Group, or you were going to, any of those restaurants, or Canoe, or but you had to drive.
Absolutely.
Now we've got award-winning chefs in downtown Roswell and downtown Woodstock and Marietta Square.
It looked like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
From what I remember. All these storefronts shuttered, and we were wondering, okay, is this just a relic of the past? But
it's been revitalized.
Yeah, people
out of necessity.
A necessity, and also it's kind of brought this local community charm to all these places, which I think is for the better.
Oh, yeah. I do too. So let's wrap up on the stats, because we're in a buyer's market now, officially. FMLS as a whole has 4.9 months supply of housing, meaning if no homes came on the market today and from the rest of the year, it's going to take us 4.9 months to sell all of the inventory. Cobb County is at 3.5. Cherokee is at 4.4. Now, these numbers are inclusive. These include single family and attached housing. So you have your detached and attached. So your condos, your townhomes, your single family residential. I will tell you that your detached housing, townhomes and condos, they are faring much worse in every aspect.
You mean attached?
Attached.
Yes.
Townhomes and condos.
Yes.
They fare worse in every statistic category, because when money gets expensive, people are going to take that monthly payment to buy the house, not to buy the services that come with the house. So you're going to get a single family detached in a neighborhood with no HOA versus buying a condo with a $500 HOA fee every month.
Well, you also have family dynamics that work into that. Usually
there's that too.
Yeah, attached homes are smaller, so you have maybe a couple living there, or maybe a smaller child if they do have one, and then they outgrow it. So they have
usually
to
the
rip off
footage.
That bandage, and so sometimes they're going to give a concession, so they sell for a little bit lower. So attached, for various reasons, always takes the hit first. The fees. HOA
that's
fees are huge
what
too.
I was just saying. Yeah.
Yes.
So like if I've got $2,000 a month that I can pay on housing, or $2,500 a month that I could pay on housing. If I buy a single family detached home, I can spend $2,500 a month on that home.
Right. You're not going to care about the amenities. You're going to want to
Exactly.
roof over your head.
If I'm buying a townhome with a $500 HOA fee every month, I can spend $2,000 a month on my housing, which means I can afford a lot less. Because that HOA fee, that's a cost of housing. You have to pay that every month. So just know that. I didn't break out the statistics. If you're curious and you want to know, I'm happy to pull the statistics for your specific zip code. You can either reach out to me on Instagram at realchrisevans, REEL, or you can email me at chris@hshbrands.com, and I'm happy to get that for you. So, and let's talk about closings, because everybody wants to know, well, what are homes selling for? Are they selling for what people are asking?
What's the bottom line?
The bottom line is that homes are selling for less than what they're asking. So over the last 5 years, we've kind of fluctuated up and down. Sometimes we're hovering around the 98, 97% mark. Sometimes we're hovering around the 100% mark. So in COVID, when everything was going for above ask, we were selling at 101 to 103% on the market. Today, we're selling at 98.7 for all of MLS. 98.9 for Cobb County, and 98.6 for Cherokee. So
negative Nancy here.
Yeah.
Yes, they're selling for less, but is it significantly
It's
less?
not significantly less. So when I started my career in 2010, I had some really good buyer statistics. And my buyer statistics for the first 4 years were that I was selling at 96.5% of the ask. So that was me negotiating it down. I was beating the average for buyer agents who were selling at 97.9. So that meant I was a more aggressive negotiator.
Which means that you got a 4% discount for your client.
Yes. In this situation where we're selling at 98.7, these are the concessions that I mentioned earlier. The house is coming off on the price a little bit. They're including closing costs a little bit. These are the benefits that you can get for buying in this market. So it's you see it in small incremental percentages, but this can be $15,000 in the pocket of a buyer that's helping them through the transition. They're helping them with the move. They're helping them financially, so they're not taking as much money out of pocket. And money is the lubrication that makes commerce work. So this is how we're able to sell homes. It's not in keeping your price at $25,000 above what it's worth. It's in finding a house. It's in targeting that price when you're listing to match up with where the buyers are looking and what a good value is for buyers in your price point.
And listen to your buyers too.
You have to listen to your buyers. Yeah.
Because it's constantly changing.
Yeah. I mean, in what world does it make sense for me to hear feedback that says I'm priced too high and me to go to the seller and say, I think we're still priced accurately? Right?
When you just heard it from somebody else.
When you've heard it from 3 or 4 buyers and agents and they're like, oh, yeah, well, I think you're 25 over. And you go back to the seller and they're like, well, we're 25 over, but I think we should stay the course. Is that smart?
No, because at the end of the day, you have to listen to your buyer.
You have to listen to the market. You have to.
That's what I meant.
You have to listen to the market. If you're a buyer and you're putting an offer in on the house and the seller's like, I'm going to stay firm at 101% of what the property's worth. Well, find another home.
No, but you need to, first of all, figure out if they are priced correctly.
Well, yeah.
And that they make a good point. If they don't make a good point, then you need to find a new.
Well, most of the homes that have been on the market for 300 plus days are not making a good point. So if you're dealing with something that's been there for a long time, I mean, absolutely. If it's been on the market for a couple of weeks and they're overpriced and you submit an offer, you got to put the work in to find some ground that's going to make sense for people. But if it's been on the market for 100 plus days and you submit an offer that is based off of data and comps, which all of our offers always are, not everybody does that. But when you submit an offer based off of comps and they come back and they're like, no, we're not going to come back. We're not going to come down to that price. You just gotta understand. You explore, ask the questions, find out if you're dealing with somebody who really wants to sell, or if they can't afford to sell in this market. In which case, let them get to the point where they financially have to before you start overpaying on properties today.
Yeah.
because you make money when you buy real estate, not when you sell it. So if you buy a good piece of property that doesn't have a lot of work to be done on it, that's going to be low maintenance over the next few years, that's going to allow you to rent it if you so choose at a price that's going to cover your costs and make you money over 20, 30 years, then you have a good opportunity. So in short, I think buyers have more options, slightly more leverage, but sellers still hold a solid position depending upon where you are and what the neighborhood demand is.
Sky's not falling.
It's
just a little cloudy.
It is a little cloudy. It's for buyers, I'm seeing some sunshine. There's some break in the clouds. Cobb is seeing stronger contract activity, and Cherokee's steady on pricing but slower on pendings. More inventory is signaling a shift towards the buyer. It's not a downturn. We're not seeing so much inventory that the market's going to collapse. Most home sellers, I think like 97, 98% of home sellers in the United States have a 30-year fixed mortgage. They're comfortable with the payment. It's low. 70% of people are experiencing some sort of the lock-in effect. So,
come to think of it, in all the TV and the financial news that we watch, I have not heard the collapse of real estate in a long time.
We're seeing more foreclosures.
But they stopped saying collapse, or there was this sky is falling doomsday rhetoric maybe 10 months ago, 12 months ago. Mm-hmm. Haven't seen it.
No. It's because
longer than that.
We're still as a nation, we're in a housing shortage. Okay. We have more people that need to live in homes than we have homes available. With the financial position, that has shifted the balance of the economics there, but that is still in motion, right? The rates are fluid. They're on their way down. There's a lot of chaos happening, which is kind of keeping the whole pot stirred. And we've got to wait for things to really settle before we see where we land. But in general, in my 15-year career in real estate and following people who have been in real estate for 30 years themselves when I was starting, the one rule that I have learned is that the best time to buy real estate was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. If you can make it work, buy real estate as young as you possibly can, because the key to real estate is time.
It's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
Not easy.
It's definitely not easy. It's one of the hardest things that we've ever had to do because it required immense discipline. That is the hard thing, is getting disciplined to the point where you are prioritizing those payments and the maintenance on those homes instead of, going out to dinner all the time.
The reward for this is 20 years out, 30 years out, not next month. So it's very difficult to have that discipline, like you said, to do that. But we did, and it's all in this book.
Yep.
Here, I'll hand it to you.
I'll hold it up. There you go, from the ground up, because it goes like that. You got it right in front of the camera. So if you are, I'm not going to say that this is for everybody, because it's certainly not.
No.
But if you want to fundamentally shift the trajectory of your family lineage and your legacy, and you're young, then this is a great book to read, because real estate is the number one way to build wealth in America. It is historically one of the biggest ways that people own wealth, right? I mean, look at the feudal system. It's all about land. I will
actually even relate it to my own family. So,
ooh, story time.
I've never met these people because this is through genealogy, right? We're talking about 1800s, and
okay.
I was not born in the 1800s, so. But you can still tell certain things about certain people with where they lived, some census information of what their occupation was, and some censuses also tell you if they're homeowners or renters. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's fascinating.
It depends on the year, but I could tell that the people who moved more often and migrated more often were poor, rented as well. They did not own land. And if they did, then they were MDs, lawyers,
kind of higher
esquires.
level positions.
Right. So
Yeah.
that has not really changed at all.
It hasn't.
No. And so the more transient people rented, they farmed, they were, a lot of the times before slavery was I'm going way back, like 1600s, they came from England as indentured servants.
Yeah, because you would get your ship fare paid for by the people you're going to work with.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the slave trade and then the whole Civil War, we're not going to go into that.
No.
Because what I'm talking about is really the 1800s to early 1900s, where that census came out.
The Victorian era.
Yeah. Oh, no, Victorian was...
1840 to 1920.
Yes. But not the early 1800s. How do you know this number?
I have been around you way too much, and it was part of a trivia question on Meat Eater Trivia a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, I have seen it firsthand through my own lineage that I have one branch that is super connected, super staying in that one town. And then I have another branch who took the different route of not owning real estate. They moved around all over the place, and I can't find pieces because they're all scattered across 4 different states. This had to do a lot with the opportunities that America gave at that time. Land bounties for the wars, like 1812. North Carolina opened up, Tennessee opened up, and then Missouri, Arkansas. Just, history. But those were the people that tended to do that and take advantage of that. So, yeah.
So, moral of the story, if you want people to be able to find you in 300 years, own real estate.
Well, the deeds help.
Deeds do help.
They really help. But
Public records.
It doesn't mean that you'll be forgotten.
No. Just document your life.
It is harder to find you.
In public records.
Yeah.
It's always important. Anyway, big thanks to Rob Doerr from E Home Loan Advisors for joining us today. It was great to have him on the show again.
Oh, you want me to say something?
Do I? Oh, thanks for pointing out.
But I don't want to say bye. Okay.
I don't want to say bye. I want to keep talking. It's the end of the show.
We'll see you next time as we wrap up the fall market and head into the holidays here in North Metro Atlanta. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. I'm Céline Evans.
I'm Chris, and I'll read the Céline line. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Georgia Living Podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that little bell so you always get notified when we put out a new episode. Hopefully you like the content you're hearing. If you want to hear anything different, give us some feedback. You can send us an email, chris@hshbrands.com, or on Instagram at Real Chris Evans. And you can find us on YouTube at East Cobb Evans.
Real, like fishing.
Fishing reel, not like real life.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. See you next week.